Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back, everyone, to the All New Marvel Roundup. It's a Marvel podcast, so we have to put all new in front of it. If you've been listening to the Roundup, you know me. I am Phil, and with me is a man you should all know from this same feed, the brain behind Super Connectivity Podcast and blog, Mr. Charlie Esser.
It's a pleasure.
All right, let's jump in. This is supposed to be a shorter podcast, more... Like I said before, I did a DC review. I was gonna say more content for your buck, but you don't pay for this, so. All right, the first one I got. We'll go with the ones we read separately. I got Hawkeye number 21. This is the next to the last issue before they reboot the series again. I like this series. Charlie, you're not reading Hawkeye?
No, I'm not reading Hawkeye. Everyone tells me I should be reading Hawkeye, and they say, "How are you not reading Hawkeye?" And I say, "I only have so much money."
I know, tell me about it. But it's a good series. I mean, some of the issues don't even have Clint Barton in it. They follow what's her face, Kate. I forget her last name. The Hawkeye from Young Avengers.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, that's it. Yeah, some of the issues followed her. But this was a Clint Barton issue where he was like facing down members of the Russian mob that are trying to get the apartment building he lives in. But I like the storytelling. The art's okay. The thing I don't like is like he's usually not in costume. It's usually Clint Barton out of costume, and he's usually getting his butt kicked way too much.
Well, he is a human level character.
I know, but I mean, it's not like he's not even facing like Graviton or Count the Fairy or something. He's facing the Russian mob, Well,
those are some pretty tough guys. Did you see Agent Carter last week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, this is also a guy who can keep up with the Avengers too.
Yeah, no. I understand. He's getting a little warped for your opinion.
Yeah, I think I'll give this one maybe a lukewarm thumbs up.
Okay. So you still liked it, but you're grudging about it.
Yes, yes. So everyone, that'll be our rating system, varying degrees of thumbs up or thumbs down. And then the other one I got that you didn't read was Return of the Living Deadpool number 1, which is the first part of the sequel to Night of the Living Deadpool. Have you heard about this?
I've not actually read a lot of Deadpool.
Okay.
So.
Well, this one, it picks up where the last miniseries left off. It's not even in continuity because the story's weird. The first series, the zombie apocalypse hit. Mm-hmm. And most of the heroes were taken out, and Deadpool was like last hero standing. So it was him traveling around trying to save people, killing zombies, and then like a weird thing happened in the end of the first series where this one picks up is so I guess eventually some of the zombies like eat Deadpool, mm-hmm. But some I guess because of his healing factor, the zombies that eat him become like clones of him.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there's like a tribe of Deadpools running around now. That's like where this issue picked up. The first part of the sequel was this young girl finds Deadpool and he doesn't know how he got. He's like just like sitting in the middle of the field. He don't know how he got there. His healing.
Now, when he becomes a clone of Deadpool, does he become a clone of Deadpool with the costume and swords cloned as well?
Well, Well, they really didn't. The clones really didn't pop up till like the end of the first series, and then when they show up at the end of this first issue, they all have like different copies of Deadpool's costume.
Mm.
So I don't know if they made them, but like they kind of have like the same the same twisted thoughts as Deadpool. So.
Well, Deadpool is a very popular character.
Oh,
he is ultra-violent ambush bug.
At one point, I think he had like 3 or 4 books going at the same time.
Ambush bug wishes he was that popular.
Yeah, but not much happened. They was setting up the new series. Him and the girl were traveling around, and then at the end they ran into the Deadpool clones. So I'll give this a regular thumbs up.
Okay.
So Charlie, what did you read?
Well, I read a lot of extra stuff. I'm going to start off with Uncanny Avengers #1, which is the reboot of the Uncanny Avengers story, which starts off our tale with, it starts off on Counter-Earth, which they state right up front, hey, wasn't this place destroyed? Yeah, but no, it's back. Just in case you didn't know, Counter-Earth is the High Evolutionaries planet of Animen. So it's just all these hyper-evolved animals on the planet, and we open up with Quicksilver coming up against a Cheetah Man, and the Cheetah Man, goes, "Pshaw, Quicksilver, you're nothing. I'm Cheetah Man, and I can run faster than you." And sure enough, he's actually pretty dang fast. And in fact, only gets beaten because Scarlet Witch is there and makes the street go up in front of him, so he runs into a wall, which is never fun. It's a pretty good book, actually. We have our new Unity team, which includes the Vision, who's still pining for the Scarlet Witch, and the reformed Sabretooth, although no one really trusts him because, let's face it, he's still Sabretooth. The all-new Captain America, Sam Wilson, as well as Rogue, and of course, the resurrected Dr. Voodoo. No longer Sorcerer Supreme, but still Hogun Supreme. So it's had a great mix of science and sorcery. So, of course, they go to Wendigo Mountain to track down the super secret origins of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, now that somehow they're not the children of Magneto anymore. How did that happen? And then, of course, everyone gets captured, and that's where we leave it with the High Evolutionary wanting to kill Sabretooth, because everyone wants to kill Sabretooth. I really enjoyed it. It's got some good action, lovely art. It's an odd place. I would say this, jumping into this book, I felt more like a new reader than I felt in a long time. Who are all these people and why are they all together? Mm-hmm. But it knitted together nicely. They gave you, I guess, enough backstory that not having read the Access series, I could still follow along with it, and I enjoyed it. I'm giving it a solid thumbs up to Uncanny Avengers. #1. The other #1 I picked up this week was All New Captain America Fear Him #1, which tells the tale. I believe this is a limited series featuring new Captain America Sam Wilson and new Nomad Ian Rogers, formerly Ian Zola, or actually, it wasn't Ian. Anyway, I forget what Zola named him because he didn't like the fact that Cap changed his name to Ian. But Ian Rogers facing off against Marvel's version of the Scarecrow, who is a being who feeds on fear. And essentially, I think basically timeline-wise, this must take place. I'm thinking it has to take place prior to the all-new Captain America, where we recently saw Ian buy it, or at least seemingly buy it, at the hands of Zemo. Because
I guess we should have said in the beginning, spoilers aplenty here, people.
Oh, yeah. Well, that came out weeks ago. If you haven't read that already, then you just weren't interested.
That's true.
So, and it seems to be like this is taking place with Sam and Ian forming their partnership. So I think we're going to get the story of how their partnership forms and builds, because at the start of it, you can see there's a lot of back and forth between Sam and Cap, and Ian kind of feeling like the third wheel in their relationship. Scarecrow comes off as a really, really frightening monster. he's carrying around a guy that he keeps on calling Bag Man. So he's just this guy in a bag that he's dragging around with him, keeping in a constant state of terror and feeding off of him. And Scarecrow realizes that, Ian is a man without fear because, of course, Zola made him that way. And rather than realizing that that's going to be a tough nut to crack, Scarecrow takes that as a challenge and captures the Ian, who foolishly ran away from Sam and Steve and didn't listen to what they said, and gets captured down in the sewers. And that's where we leave it, with Scarecrow vowing to make Ian afraid. Again, it's it's an interesting book. I felt it was a little slow paced, and honestly, Ian comes off as a little whiny. But it's a great book. Especially what I like about it is that it's giving us some more backstory on the Ian Sam Wilson partnership. Because honestly, if they killed off Ian in the second issue of All New Captain America, I really am strained to wonder why we had Ian as a character at all. It's like, oh, here's Ian. Okay, now he's dead. That's a rough thing. So getting this backstory helps to build out who that character is, how he evolved into being All New Cap's partner, and hopefully, if it does well, maybe Ian isn't quite as dead as he looked. So I'll just give that a regular thumbs up. It's a solid book. You can read it. However, if you skip it, I don't think your knowledge of the Marvel Universe is going to be that impeded. Next up is Ms. Marvel 11, where we get the end of the Inventor arc. For those who do not read Ms. Marvel, here is the basic backstory. Ms. Marvel, a lost Inhuman, exposed to exposed to mists after the Terrigen bomb, develops the power to change her shape, which she uses primarily to embiggen and ensmallen herself, as she says, which is grow big, get small, and occasionally, spin her body around Mr. Fantastic style. She is going up against her new arch villain, who is called the Inventor, who is a clone of Thomas Edison crossed with a cockatiel. This is Marvel. And the Inventor comes up with this brilliant idea to essentially round up homeless kids and use their biomass to generate electricity, so that we can have this wonderful renewable source of electricity fed by street urchins, some of whom wind up being mutants, which of course are exceptionally useful in your power generation field. So anyway, this is the big culmination where they finally fight. Kamala, Ms. Marvel rallies the young children of Jersey City, Captain America style, to resist the negativity of their elders, and to strike out a blow for millennials everywhere. And they defeat the Inventor, who dies horribly at the end when he is crushed by his own giant robot. How often does that happen? But we get the revelation of Ms. Marvel's new arch villain, who is the inventor of the Inventor, the guy who originally cloned Thomas Edison and accidentally got his cockatiel mixed in there. So that is the end of that book. Honestly, if you were reading Ms. Marvel, I would say this is a big thumbs up. It was a great end to that arc. Really defined the character, her role in Jersey City, her role in the Marvel Universe. If you were not following Ms. Marvel, it's probably not the most interesting book, because you're going to be coming in kind of lost. And like I said, it's a very talky, kind of preachy book. So if you weren't already invested in Kamala, you're probably going to say, oh, she's just droning on and on and on about, the youth of today and how they have to stand up and prove their elders wrong, kind of thing. But if you're already into Kamala, which a lot of people are, this was a great book. So I'm going to give that. I'm just going to sort of give a thumb sideways if you don't like Ms. Marvel. It's not a bad book, even if you don't like Ms. Marvel. But if you like Ms. Marvel, this was a great entry in her storyline. Next up, we have our two MCU tie-in. Well, not really MCU tie-ins, but we have. Let's start off with Operation Sin #2, which follows the adventures of Peggy Carter, Howard Stark, and Woodrow McCord in Russia, chasing down something. Yeah, there's some sort of MacGuffin in there, and we have the young girl. Well, I couldn't remember her name. Her name is Tanya, I believe, Tatiana. As they go up against the Russians, trying to find out who has lost alien technology, because they found some lost alien technology, and it nearly killed a lot of people. But they got through it. We also get to meet. I believe this is a young Ursa Major, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get the chance to look up what Ursa Major's original name is, but there's a young man who turns into a bear at the end, and we have McCord wanting to kill him, and Peggy Carter punching out Howard Stark and giving Woodrow McCord what for, because, as she points out, the way that she was able to get the drop on him earlier was because she said something that she knew would annoy him, so that he would just dismiss her immediately, and that's how she lifted his gun off of him in the first issue. Great outing for Peggy. Honestly, it is Peggy's book. Everyone else is writing along with it, and you really get to see sort of a really great. It's a great tie-in. If you're liking Agent Carter, I highly recommend everyone pick up Operation Sin. You get some nice stuff with Howard Stark. You get some nice stuff with Woodrow McCord, but it is Agent Carter's book 100%. And great art and a fantastic cover, which has Woodrow McCord trying to punch out a bear as Peggy Carter punches out Howard Stark. So big thumbs up there. And my final book, because I know I've just droned on here, Prelude to Ant-Man. This is the prequel to the Ant-Man movie coming out, so it's set in the MCU. And it follows the story of Hank Pym being sent by Howard Stark and Haley Atwell in old lady makeup, though not as old of old lady makeup as she. So I'm hoping we get to see her in some sort of middle-aged makeup. Mm-hmm. So we get that whole age range of Peggy Carter here. But we have her sending Hank Pym in his Ant-Man armor out to East Berlin to find the MacGuffin, as is the nature of most of these kind of adventures. And we have basically what it is Hank Pym has the Pym particles, does not trust anyone with them. So he will only take the suit and use the particles if he can go himself. And Peggy basically says, okay. Howard doesn't want to do that because he would rather a trained agent go, but Peggy figures, you know what, you're smart, you're savvy, and this is the only way we're going to get you to do this. Well, actually, she threatens to shoot him and take the dang suit, but of course he shrinks down and proves himself worthy of going on the mission. And that was all of the books I read this week. Now let's get to the books we both read.
All right. Well, since you mentioned Ant-Man, why don't we jump into Ant-Man #2?
Okay.
What did you?
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, it was Scott Lang in Miami. Following his daughter. Since his ex-wife moved his daughter down there, and he was trying to start his own security business.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a neat book. I'm giving it a thumb. There wasn't really anything I read this week that I didn't like. Mm-hmm. And this is a good universe builder for our Ant-Man storyline. And we got a great opening with the Grizzly, wanting to kill Ant-Man for sending him to jail. And it's like, oh, it's a different Ant-Man. I was dead at that time. It's like, what? Man, this is what I've been planning for. Well, where is this O'Grady so I can kill him? Well, I hear he's dead now too, and possibly an evil robot. It gets weird.
I love it.
Again, this is Marvel.
I know. He's like, which Ant-Man was it? He's like, was he a jerk? Yeah. He's like, oh, it's O'Grady.
Well, actually, he says, well, it's kind of a jerk. He says, well, that doesn't really, that doesn't really narrow it down. We're all pretty much jerks, which is a great thing to say about the Ant-Men, because historically, yeah, all the Ant-Men pretty jerky guys.
And then we get.
But we get to, and we find out. I'm really intrigued by Ms. Morgenstern, our bank president, who apparently has a history as an adventurer. So I'm looking forward to find out whom she was in the past.
Oh, you mean?
So I'm giving that a big thumbs up because hey, it's Ant-Man, Nazi
robot.
I don't know if he was a gold eating robot or a gold vomiting robot. He was the Nazi gold bot, but that's who we fight in this issue. And so we got that tie back to the 1940s. When superheroing was simpler.
Yeah, I give it a big thumbs up, too. For the little guy, we both get a big thumbs up.
Yes. Love that Ant-Man. Okay. Next up, we have what I think was probably one of my favorite books this week was Hulk number 11. Doc Green versus the Daughter of Destruction. What did you think of this one?
I liked it. I mean, it seems that it's following the pattern of the last couple issues of him going after people like him, gamma infected.
Yeah, but of course, what's great about this is we get a great Hal moment here, which is that Doc Green's AI basically has gone rogue and will not open the pod bay doors. He has basically decided that the plans of Doc Green are not not the plans that he would like.
Well, he said
Doc Green.
Yeah, what he said is that.
I'm
sorry. He said his extremist intellect is starting to wear off.
Yeah, which which just sounds like a jerky thing to say. He still seems pretty smart to me. I don't know. He just showed a little compassion for this creature with whom he shares genetics. But of course, Doc Green AI, of course, and here's what I'm going to say. If you're the Doc Green AI and you send Thunder Hulk, Lyra, to fight an ancient one in a mystical dimension, do you really think that's going to end well for you? I mean, really, when has sending a Hulk to a mystical dimension worked out well for anyone? So as far as who's being smart here, I think Hulk saying, "Oh, let's send her back to her universe or her timeline," that was the smart thing, because she's back home, she's going to be able to sort of make her life there. Now you've just made the Hulk now you've just made Lyra angry, and I don't think you're going to like her when she's angry.
Nope.
No, but the Doc Green AI is out there, and it looks like next month. I'm guessing the Hulk is going to decide to go up against his AI, because we see that he is teaming up with Red Hulk. It looks like, and the Gamma Corps. Is that Red Hulk in the background? I'm not quite sure, or is that the Gray Hulk, the Gray Hulk from Gamma Corps? I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Anyway. Yeah, it's hard to tell. They put some red lighting on him, but I'm looking at his arms; they're green. But he's joining up with the old Gamma Corps, if you all remember them, and that was I think Ross created those to kill the Hulk, and as with so many things, did not work out well. And off they go. Actually, we get a rematch in Hulk 14 with the Red Hulk and the Green Hulk again. So, and Deadpool in Hulk 13. So it just keeps on coming.
All right, you want to get to the big one then?
Yes, our big reveal, Avengers 41.
You knew Namor wasn't dead.
I didn't. I was thinking, oh, cool. They actually, honestly, I kind of see saving Namor kind of a cop out, because he's, I mean, sure, it's great that he's alive, but now it's like, oh well, we don't, killing Namor would have put a real impressive cap going into Secret Wars that, hey, anyone can die.
Yeah.
And now we're like, oh no, not anyone can die. So to there, I'm actually gonna say a little disappointed. I'm gonna start to move that thumb down, because Namor's, and I actually was gonna give it a thumbs up until you pointed out that you knew Namor wasn't dead. And I'm like, you know what? But that kind of annoys me.
Not even just Namor, the whole Cabal survived.
Oh yeah, the whole cabal. Well, the whole cabal surviving. They're villains. Villains always get away. But I mean, this was a personal murdering of Namor. So I was,
But they made it.
But yeah, the whole cabal survived. So that's a cop out too. Well, not really a cop out because now they can come back and wreak further havoc.
Well,
so
they made it out.
Honestly, I was actually thinking because they replay the narrative. With the Black Swan leading the way to the next planet. I was actually thinking that was the Black Swan talking again, of wanting to have Namor think he was saved, and then she was actually going to leave him back on the exploding planet too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you betrayed us, so you know what? Sucks to be you, Namor. You got no friends, and now you're on a doomed world.
But they made it out through.
But now they're gonna team up with evil Reed Richards from Ultimate Universe.
Do you think they're going to team up? Because do you think that with all the egos at play, will they be able to team up?
Oh, well, it's entirely possible they won't, except here's what I'm going to say. Thanos is a long game, man. He's not, I don't think he's going to allow, this little Reed Richards, this baby Reed Richards to bother him. That especially if they all want the same thing. Because let's face it, what Reed Richards wants, I think, is to kill all humans and replace them with perfect AI. And what Thanos wants is to kill all humans. What we all want is to kill all humans. In fact, including including the Shi'ar Empire and all of our allies from the Builder War. They all want to kill all humans.
But do you think Namor would be willing to team up with any version of Reed Richards?
Oh, well, Namor, you know what? Namor is just along for the ride at this point. And I think that's sort of what we've established about Namor here, is Namor has burnt every bridge. He has no friends, no colleagues. He has nothing left. He can own, the only home he has is with the Cabal right now. He's only alive because the Cabal decided not to let him die. So really, yeah. Namor may not want to team up with Reed Richards, but I don't think he gets a vote.
That's true. He might just take any means necessary to get back to the Black Panther.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think at this point all Namor is trying to do is just live to another day.
Yeah.
I don't even think that he's he basically him more than anyone else. He's the one that's kind of probably got the words of Captain America echoing in his ears about how far they're going to fall because they're going to let themselves fall. Because sure, he's teamed up with the villains, and and then he has to go to Doom for help. And Doom says, "I'm nobody's second choice. Why didn't you come to me first? You want to deal with this nonsense, So yeah, he's stuck with just the worst of the worst of all people. I mean, Thanos, who's just a nihilist. Thanos isn't trying to build anything or save anything. Honestly, I'm sure Thanos is sitting there saying, I like blowing up worlds, and that's cool. But quite frankly, the destruction of everything in the universe sounds great to me.
Yeah.
I think Thanos is thinking we're just going to destroy every universe to where the last universe left, and then I blow up this one too. Because I think that's where Thanos would like to go, and I don't think evil Reed Richards is gonna. I think evil Reed Richards and him are gonna get along swimmingly, and I think everyone else is gonna go along well too. I think everyone but Namor, and like I said, Namor doesn't get a vote. That's where I see Namor's at.
All right. Well, is that it?
That's all I read. I did not get to read this Unbeatable Squirrel Girl this week. I had it, and I have it, and I'm looking at it, and I didn't get to read it. Last week came out with I picked up my first copy of the new Thor, which I think this is issue 3, I think this is issue 3. And really loved that. If you want to talk about that, I'll talk about that. But I thought that since that was technically last week's comic, I'd save that for Super Connectivity.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to hear us go into detail on these or any other issues of Marvel, yes, listen to Super Connectivity later on in the week.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
But yeah, any issues, any recommendations, get a hold of us. You can email me at nightwingpdp@gmail.com, or on Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And Charlie?
And I am still at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com, which is a very long email address, I know, but I wasn't really thinking about that when I came up with it. And you can follow me on Twitter at Charlie Esser, which is much shorter. So look for Charlie Esser, at Charlie Esser on Twitter, and I can be tweeted there as you need to. And of course, Charlie Esser on Facebook, and we're soon going to be having a Super Connectivity and All New Roundup Facebook presence as well. So you'll have all sorts of ways to get in touch with us.
So all new social media, Facebook, Twitter, yes, you should be able to find all our shows.
Okay.
All right, then. So stay tuned for Super Connectivity later in the week, where you'll hear both of us again. But for the All New Marvel Roundup, I am Phil Parrish.
And I am Charlie Esser.
Proud members of the NSU. Enough Said Universe.
Enough Said Universe.
Bye, everyone.
Fighting enough setters.